Hello, everybody. Chris Peterson here again, bringing you round 4 of the 2012 Salute to Bobby Fischer. If you haven't seen the other 3 videos, I strongly encourage you to watch those first. I might be spoiling the results of those games or something in this video, so be very cautious. Alright, so after my draw with the Grandmaster, everyone was complimenting me, congratulating me, and all this stuff, and people were asking me how I drew him and what my strategy was. People asked me what I've been doing for the past 3 years to get better, basically. To that last question, I simply replied, nothing special. I own something like 2 chess books, both of which I only use to reference for my students. Jeremy Silman's Endgame course and Aaron Nimzovich's My System, which I misplaced and I can no longer find My System, but whatever. I don't really study chess other than when I look over my own games. To improve, I play Blitz fairly rarely nowadays, and I try to do, and I try to remember to do the 3 free chess puzzles, tactics puzzles on chess.com that you can do every day. And the only thing that I'm really doing differently is taking the game more seriously when I play than what I did before. Even though I don't like sitting at the board most of the game, I am able to still debate with myself over moves and superficially analyze while not at the board. I would speculate that I have gleaned some information from other strong players around the state by being a chess parasite of sorts, as I called myself in an interview with Tim Brennan on Tactics Time. I mean, other than that, maybe it was a fluke weekend because of my caused by my torrent of anticipation and also from 3 years of just angst from not being able to play. So going into round 4, I was hoping for 2 things. I wanted to win my last game against Joshua Jex, an expert player who my opponent is, and I wanted Brian to draw the Grandmaster. Brian Wall ended up being paired against the Grandmaster in the final round. If those 2 things could happen, I would win clear first, something I've never done in an open section of a tournament. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the game. It's going to be Joshua Jex 2006 white against myself as black. So this game, like the other 3, is a 40-2 sudden death 1. So it's an extremely long time control. So you have lots of time to think and calculate and all that cool stuff. And I've played Josh twice before. Both those times were at the same tournament. Oddly enough, the 24-hour marathon that Anthea had hosted a long time ago when I first started playing. It was one of my first tournaments ever, and I actually did fairly well. I believe I upset Josh 1.5 to a half because he was 1900 at the time, and I was 800 or something, ridiculously low. So this game started out e4, c5, c3, d5, e takes d5, knight f6, d4. They could try to be greedy and play c4, but e6 is a fun gambit line that I get quite often when I play online. If white wants to try to hold on to that pawn, he'll need to sacrifice development and suffer with the backward d-pawn. So queen takes d5, 4, queen takes d5, knight f3, bishop to g4, and then d takes c5. So this move confused me. Usually they get a few more moves of development in before they take on c5. I think Josh was hell-bent on trading the queens and entering an endgame, which I found out later is a strong suit of his. So I played e6. So typically this move is good in this opening, allowing white to trade, pulling black's knight into an aggressive post. This move here is hideous, however. Because of the wide open e8, a4 diagonal, simply trading queens would give black an equal ending. So I should have played queen takes d1 check instead of e6, but whatever. So Josh played queen takes d5, 7 queen takes d5. I played knight takes d5, bishop b5 check, king e7. I realized after this, after I moved, how much better king d8 was. I didn't want him to force my g4 bishop out of the game with knight e5 and g4. So he played 9, knight b to d2, f6, h3, bishop h5, and then knight e4. Now the knight looks really menacing on d6, but with c5's precarious position, I wasn't too worried. Then I played 11 a6, bishop a4, knight to d7, bishop to d2. So he's trying to add extra support to the soon-to-be b4 pawn. So 13, bishop g6, bishop c2, rook c8. I could have won the pawn back right away, but something about increasing the pressure appealed to me. It's too bad the move was a complete lemon. I mean, after all, he could just play. I could have just played knight takes c5, knight takes c5, bishop takes c2, knight takes b7, rook b8, knight a5, and then rook takes b2. So he played 15 b4, b6, knight to d6, rook c7, bishop takes g6, h takes g6, knight to e4, b takes c5, knight takes c5, knight takes c5, b takes c5, rook takes c5. And now I managed to win my pawn back. My pieces are starting to come alive a little bit as well. So the position's really starting to shape up for black. So I don't know if you noticed, but the analysis on this game is going to go a little bit quicker and a little bit less in depth than the previous games, and that's partially because these type of positions are not something I'm really that interested in, even though they are extremely important to know and understand and be able to play. I find that like my game against the Grandmaster, my game against Brian were both just a lot more intricate, and I don't know. This game's just a little bit too subtle for me, I guess. So he played 21 rook c1, king f7, king e2, bishop d6, pawn to g3, rook h to c8, king to d3, rook a5, rook c2, and then rook a3. So this move, rook a3, actually wins a pawn by force due to the threat of knight b4 check, winning the exchange on c2. Or actually, it looks like it would just win a rook if he doesn't defend the rook right now. And if he moves the rook away, then either the a pawn or the c pawn will drop. So I was able to kind of maneuver my pieces around and put pressure on his weak queenside pawns, and that's going to give me a huge advantage going into this endgame. Well, the rest of this endgame anyway. So he played 26 king e2. So I just took on c3 check and bishop takes c3. Then I played rook c takes c3. Then rook takes c3, rook takes c3. Then he played rook d1, and I played rook c2 check. Rook to d2, rook takes d2 check, and knight takes d2. And now endings like this, where it's knight versus knight, there's and black just has a majority on the king side, and also with double pawns. They're not easy to win at all. But once the rooks have been traded off, the drawing chances for the defender go way down. So if the rooks had stayed on the board, it would have been a lot easier for Josh to try to draw this position. But yeah, I still think it's still pretty drawish with proper play from white. So I played king e7, 31 king e7. he played king d3. I followed with king d7, then king c4, king c6, knight to e4, and bishop c7. So this is an inaccurate move which allows knight c5. Better would have been simply bishop e7, preventing the knight's advance. And sometimes it's hard to keep in mind, which direction you want to go, but it's always a good thing to try to restrict your opponent's movements. So after bishop c7, he played 35 knight c5. I played bishop b6, and then knight takes a6. So one of the two choices, and this is the inferior one, better was if he would have played knight takes e6, then I would have taken the f2 pawn, and then g4. And this wins white's pawn back, and will probably lead to a draw. So after he took my a6 pawn, I just took his f2 pawn. And now he played g4 to defend his pawn on his g3 pawn. And now I played f5. And this is the key idea behind everything that I was doing, is that with f5, I'm basically creating two connected passed pawns. And it's going to be really hard for white to defend against those two pawns. And all I have to do is defend against one outside passed pawn on a4. And with a long-range bishop, I can both support my connected passed pawns and prevent his pawn on a4 from advancing further. So he played 38 knight b4 check. I played king d6, then a4, f4, knight to d3, bishop e3, knight e1, e5, knight g2. And although the game is already pretty bad for white, this move kind of nails the coffin shut. So now I played this move, bishop f2, and this move traps the knight. The knight will be traded by force, and since my king is plenty close enough to the a-pawn, and I have two connected pass pawns, it would be an easy king and pawn endgame to win for me. So he tried king d3, and I just played f3, knight e3, bishop takes e3, king e3, and now e4. And Josh had enough in this position, he resigned, so there's no way that he could stop both those pawns and prevent me from capturing his a-pawn, and he has no chance of making a pass pawn either on the h or g files. So all in all, it was a pretty interesting game. I mean, I played the opening horrendously, and but I was able to get into this endgame where I had kind of a clear plan to exploit his queenside weaknesses, and I was able to convert that into a pawn-up endgame, and then also force the trade of the knight, and also get those two connected pass pawns, which was really nice. So that's game 4. What happened between Brian and the Grandmaster is the Grandmaster ended up beating Brian in the final round, which, with my win over Josh Jex, had us tie for first. We shared the $325 prize. Well, it was $650 was the combined prize. So we both took home $325. The only thing to determine after that was who gets their name on the trophy. I guess I forgot to mention that there's a trophy involved. It's like this giant, shiny trophy. It has the previous winners' names plaqued onto the base. I believe the previous winners are FIDE Master Renard Anderson and Grandmaster Dashveg Sharavdorsh. But they had their names on it. And so there was only 2 previous winners. So it's between me and the Grandmaster Bakre to see who would be the third name. And being a 4-round tournament, it was pretty likely that there would be a tie for first. And the year before, there was actually a 3-way tie. And this means tie breaks would need to be used to determine who would have the honor of being the official 2012 champion of the Salute to Bobby Fischer. It came down to the fourth tiebreak and only by a half point. I ended up winning on tiebreaks over the Grandmaster. And it's the first tournament that I've ever got first in the Open section and also won on tiebreaks in the Open. And I have to say that's one heck of a way to come back to the chess scene, especially here in Colorado. So that's that for my report on the Salute to Bobby Fischer. Next up is going to be the May 2012 Denver Chess Club monthly Tuesday tournament. So I got 5 games from that, so that should be a good thing there. Yeah, so go ahead and leave comments, ask me questions, whatever YouTube allows you to do, go for it. And I'll catch you guys next time.